It's Rejected Radio. Josh and Boner are back. Not live, not scripted, and since we're being honest, not that entertaining. Join the conversations on Facebook and Twitter by searching Rejected Radio. The Rejected Radio podcast starts now. Here's Josh and Boner.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I am Josh. Boner is not here with us, but of course he is going to be back. So if you are missing Boner in your life, who's that music playing? Tommy, honestly, I have no fucking clue who sings that song or even what that song is. We just kind of found it yesterday. It was like, fuck it, we'll go with it. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, Tommy. Appreciate that. Matthew's with us as well. It is Rejected Radio. My name is Josh. We've also got producer John over there. How you doing, buddy? Well done. Thank you for nothing. And Chris McNelly over here, too, am I right?
What's up, nerds?
How you guys doing?
Killing it.
So anybody in here Game of Thrones fans? I just want to start off with this because this is pretty fantastic.
I'm really not.
You've never watched
I
Game
never
of
got
Thrones?
it. There's so much more out there that I watched that Game of Thrones seems like a chore to really figure out. So
What about you, John? You seem like somebody that would be like completely into Game of Thrones. You a Game of Thrones guy? No.
Not at all.
I know you're like, what? You're Doctor Who, right? That's like your big thing.
Doctor Who. I've got like 4 Doctor Who tattoos.
and we're trying so hard not to judge right now.
right.
Judge all you want. Doesn't bother me.
Okay, so yeah, Doctor Who is John's thing. Game of Thrones, if it is your thing, you might be excited to hear this. Obviously, Game of Thrones is loaded up with nudity, and one would think you could never make a porno parody.
Which is why Sting watches it.
Maybe. It hardly needs a porn parody, but it's got one.
Okay.
Brazzers, hats off to Brazzers, one of our favorite companies.
Good for them.
Is it only me? I'm the only one that
Oh, no, they're a great family program.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Great at bar mitzvahs. Huge hit. There's a new trailer for Queen of Thrones.
Okay.
It chronicles the epic battle between the people of Westernness and the Deadwalkers, and it's actually a sequel to a previous Game of Thrones porn parody that came out last year called Storm of Kings. This is porn, so it is what it is. Don't expect a tight storyline or a tight vagina, if we're being completely honest. But
it is like it's like scripted though.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's hilarious.
It is a scripted porno.
Good for them.
Westernness or Westeros?
I thought it was
It's Westernness in this one. Obviously, we copyright infringement, sir.
Huh.
Let's see, but the sets, costume, acting, and action, if you know what I mean, right? Prove that this is going to be much more than just a sex flick. But
I wonder how much it costs to make.
if you're already one of those pervs who have already, pounded your pud to Daenerys Targaryen, which, raise your hand. Let's be honest here. You can do it now.
Knows the name of that character because he searched it on.
I'm literally thinking I haven't watched the show. I don't know who this is. So,
but anyway, nonetheless, we're approaching a Game of Thrones parody. But isn't that how it goes, though? I mean, obviously, anything that's a hit, you have a porn parody of. Wasn't there one called "There's Something About Mary's Vagina"? I'm pretty sure that was
probably.
back in the day. I think that was one of them. So.
There was one here a little while back that was on a show I was watching, like a talk show. They were talking about it. Apparently, this porn star, she made her name. What's the girl from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
oh
It's like
god,
April or something like that.
Yeah.
She actually, her porn name.
Wait, I think
is
it's
the
Megan
name-
Fox.
Is the name of that character. She did it because she loved it so much. So then she got the opportunity to finance making a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles porn parody.
Oh, I know
And
what
she
you're talking
did,
about now.
So her porn name is the character name from the real show. So there was like
Nice.
a talk about whether or not that was going to be copyrighted.
Clearly not Megan Fox, because if Megan
Right,
Fox
that's what I
was
was
in a porno,
thinking. I
I'd
was
be
like,
lining up,
it's
dude.
like I didn't know that. And what's funny though is Megan Fox is from my grandparents and parents' hometown of Rockwood, Tennessee.
Very nice.
So she definitely made it out. Good for her.
I'd rock here with my wood. You know what I mean? Right? Huh?
Man.
Anybody? No? All right. Moving on. Moving on.
I need an overlay for Shane Cam.
Yeah. Shane Cam.
Shane Cam.
Shane Cam. This guy.
It's
right
literally
here.
an hour of just sting. That's all it is.
Shane Cam. How you guys doing? All right. Anyway, so for anybody who is aspiring to produce a TV show, here's why you
Don't.
can't. Here's why you can't get one on the air. Animal Planet knows everyone loves the Puppy Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
No. But they hope that someday all those people actually tune in and watch it. In an effort to further entice you, they're making a franchise. So CSI got CSI Miami, right? Law and
Absolutely.
Order. Got Law and Order SVU. The Real Housewives of Orange County, etc. Now Animal Planet is launching the Dog Bowl. Cue the applause.
What?
Nope. All right. So no more Puppy Bowl. I mean, it's a sequel. It's a spinoff.
Okay, but the only reason why
Does anybody
anybody
watch
watched it was because it was puppies.
Who gives a shit? I didn't even watch that.
What?
Have you ever seen the Puppy Bowl?
No.
It's on during the Super Bowl. It's like all day Super Bowl Sunday.
No. It's before the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. My bad. It's right before the Super Bowl.
What is this?
They lay out a piece of carpet that looks like a football field, and they let
Okay.
these puppies run around on it.
Okay.
And apparently
Come
there's
on,
teams.
at least give it what it is. They give them teams. They put
Okay.
on collars that are their team colors.
Sure.
And then they put a bunch of dog toys in the middle of this room that has a carpet that looks like a 100-yard field.
Okay.
And then if a puppy takes a toy past the end zone,
Yeah, it's a touchdown.
it's a touchdown. They
It's
score
bullshit.
a point. So they do it, but it's something.
So it
whenever
probably
you're
takes
getting-
all day.
Absolutely.
It runs for like 3 hours, but they do it before the game.
Yeah.
So I've watched it not because I've watched it, but I've had it on the TV while I'm waiting on the Super Bowl to come on.
That is sad.
It's
that is
puppies.
sad.
I won't lie though, those like dog rescue videos on Facebook, God damn it, those things get me every time. Then the only reason I even watch that
Sarah
stuff,
McLachlan. Cue
yeah,
it.
my cousin's like this huge animal lover, and so anytime in her scroll, it's like there's a dog that has mange and oil on it, and it looked like it got out of the BP oil spill, and like the next thing you know, it's the next Air Bud. So it's a good story. So
Did you just whip out Air Bud?
yeah, you're talking about dogs. I mean, Air Bud is outside of Balto. I don't know of a better dog.
Fair enough. Wasn't Balto a cartoon?
True.
Yeah, so he wasn't even real.
Maybe he was real. I think there's a statue of that dog somewhere. Huh. I'm gonna look that up.
in his
Probably oughta.
backyard.
But yeah, I mean, so we're going Dog Bowl. So any of you aspiring TV creators who need TV space, just remember that you're getting replaced with
The Dog Bowl.
the Dog Bowl.
That makes total sense.
3 hours worth of time slots, and your show can't get on the air. But the Dog Bowl, hey, we got that shit.
I got to be honest though, I feel like Animal Planet, the History Channel, a few of these have really just, as a network, have jumped the shark. Like it used to be, history was about history. There is not a single show on history that is about history
Sure.
at this point.
What is TLC? What was TLC
The
when we were
Learning
kids?
Channel.
The Learning Channel. Now it's like a midget and her family. And we're learning from
Multiple midget families.
Hey, if we're actually here to learn, they are called little people, okay?
Little People, Big World, and 6 spin-offs.
this. So,
They've
fine.
got like 7 Little Johnstons, The Little Couple.
Isn't that where John and Kate failed their marriage? TLC? Isn't that where that happened too?
Yep. Now it's just Kate plus 8.
Hey, David, thank you so much. Josh, your producer needs to groom that faux beard.
That thing is pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, just
a
a
good
little
look.
trimming. Just a little trimming.
Hell no.
Since we're on the dog subject, that might be mange. You might want to take care of that. But yeah, no, TLC, seriously, it used to be like, all the science, the Learning Channel. This is where you can go to, educate yourself. And now it's just garbage.
Hey, when we were pitching our show, our last round,
Yeah.
we had, so rather than making this like some comedy and something incredible, we had like 6 different studios, networks that were very specific on like, hey, yeah, let's just make this a reality show. Let's just find all the fucked up things about your life and we'll put that into it and then we'll base it around you and your best friend.
That's
It's like,
garbage.
that sounds like a lot of stuff I don't want to do.
So since we're kind of talking about the show,
Sure.
do you want to talk about it?
Absolutely not.
We good? No? We're not
No.
good to talk about the show.
No, I mean, we could, but it's just like, there's probably better things to talk about.
Dude, I don't know. I'm digging on it. Dude, the whole premise, I mean, of course, I'm on the inside of this. So everything that I see and know,
Right.
I'm like, this is going to be freaking awesome.
In 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No,
Josh
no
is
time
just
soon.
like, I'm really depending on this to bankroll this podcast. Like, I need this to succeed for me to
has to
succeed. So
work.
can we please plug this every opportunity we can?
Yeah.
No, but it is going to be awesome. And fine, we'll leave it at that. If you don't want to talk
Sure.
about it, it's cool. But it's actually, you say 10 years, but I mean, we're really on the cusp of something
We're
pretty
close.
decent
We're
happening.
finally close. People ask me all the time, like, hey, what's funny, too, to back up, I get people that ask, "Hey, so how's your little project going?" And I'm like, "God damn it!" But either way, we're close. I've been working on this for it'll be 3 years this fall.
Wow.
And that's how, realistically, you hear people like Ryan Reynolds when he was talking about Deadpool. He's like, we sat on that thing for fucking 8 years.
So to clarify, where we're at in the progression of your show,
Sure.
we're still on grandmother compliments. How's that project?
Oh, yeah, well, at least,
you're doing
at
going?
least in this town, in my hometown, it's like, how's that sketch you're doing? And it's
nobody
like,
in this
wow.
town understands. We're in Chattanooga, fucking Tennessee. Nobody here understands anything about anything that could be Hollywood.
Sure. Fair enough.
But you're going out there, what, a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, I go back out in 2 weeks. So
Nice.
we're filming a little promo sizzle for people that want it. So we'll find out.
Very
yeah,
cool.
It'll be cool.
So how is L.A.? I know you've been kind of around the world. How is
Absolutely.
L.A. compared to Chattanooga? Because everybody here is like, oh my God, it's going to be like the greatest
Right.
place ever.
So I've lived in technically 5, I would say, major cities. I've lived in New York for a little bit. I lived in Austin for a long while. I still go back to Austin a lot. I'm in LA a lot. So Austin is probably my favorite city ever. So Austin is New York City and Chattanooga had a baby.
Kind of like big city, small town feel,
yeah.
right?
So it's incredible. It's a
But
great
it's very
place
eclectic,
to be. It is.
right? Austin is just
it's
kinda
weird.
different.
I love the culture too. You'll see some dude who's tatted up and looks like a hipster that hangs out at like Mean Mug downtown,
Right.
and the dude is getting into his Porsche because he has a startup and it's done really well. And then, that's fantastic. But LA, dude. People are like, "Hey, McNelly, I'm going to Los Angeles for vacation." And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing that for?
Why would you ever?
LA is not a place to
No, it is one of the grossest cities in the world. It is, you either have or you have not. And so if you do have not in a studio the size of this room by the beach, Because it's nuts. It takes you 3.5 hours to drive anywhere. It's miserable. You plan your day around if you're going 1 mile or 10 miles kind of thing. And
Jesus.
Yeah, and it's just as expensive as New York, and it's not as accessible. Like New York City, I can wake up and literally get on a train and be in a totally different culture, quote unquote, in 20 minutes.
See, like,
And you ungrateful bastards bitch about what, the ridge cut? Shut up!
No, like
The ridge cut.
I was in San Diego for 2 years.
Yeah,
And,
great
like,
city.
To me, because I see around here, San Diego to LA, whenever traffic isn't bad,
Right.
is a normal commute for somebody around here. Like, it really isn't that bad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why wouldn't you just live in San Diego and go to LA? But then you try to go to LA one time during the day, during traffic, it adds, like, there's this weird Twilight Zone thing where, like, if you leave at 9 o'clock, you'll get there at 11.
Yeah.
If you live there at 11, you'll get there at 11.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this weird, like...
I had a friend coming in town once when I was still there, and they're like, "Hey, we're coming through here. We're going to get to, L.A. probably around 4 o'clock. And I giggled, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, and you're coming up on the 405. And I was like, "I'll see you at 7:30. And they're like, "What? You can't meet before this?" Like, dude, you're not going to get through this traffic until 7:30.
Unless you're O.J. Simpson and you're in a white Bronco, you're fucked. But no, so here's a serious question, though, really.
Sure.
Transportation-wise, and we've had this conversation off the air, but it's so much easier, contrary to a lot of people's belief, to get around in New York City
Absolutely.
than it is in L.A.
100%.
Unless you drive.
Unless you drive.
unless you
Of
drive.
course, yeah.
See, that's the thing is, like, here, because I've lived in Atlanta, I've lived in Nashville, I've lived in San Diego, and whenever you're talking about there's a difference between cultures.
Mm-hmm.
We've grown up, we're so used to, whenever I lived in Atlanta, I lived in Buckhead. Okay,
Yeah.
I lived in a condo on an upper floor, and you had to park your car in a garage.
Sure.
Okay, so like here, you're used to, I'm going to go get groceries for the day, or I'm going to go get groceries for the week. So you'll go and get groceries for like 2 weeks at a time.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. That's
But
the
here,
way we live here.
like whenever
yeah.
I was in Atlanta, that meant driving up to the front of the building, getting the stuff out of the car, going up the elevator, coming back down. Hope to God you didn't have more than one trip to take all of your bags up. Then go get in the car, take the car to the garage, then walk back from the garage back to the condo, go back up the elevator. Just taking the dog out to take a shit was like a 15-minute ordeal just to get him outside.
Yeah.
So like
see.
in New York, it's the same way. I have a lot of friends that live in New York. You don't go grocery shopping like what we're used to.
No, you
stop on your way home and buy what
Yep.
you need for that night.
Yeah.
So like for us to move to LA, I have a lot of friends who have moved to LA, a lot of friends who have moved to New York, stuff like that. It's not so much that it's a problem of getting around, it's the problem of relearning how to get around.
Yeah.
Because people are so used to what they're used to.
So where do you stay in New York when you go? Like Brooklyn?
It just depends. So what's funny, people ask me all the time. Now I'm single. I don't have any kids that I know of.
Jury's still out.
Right.
but,
I travel all the time, and so people are
It's
like,
court next week.
yeah, no, that's sting.
Ow!
Yeah.
That one
But
hurt.
people are like, McNelly, how do you do this? It's like, okay, I don't, I don't have expenses that a lot of people. I don't have kids, this, that, and because I'm in late 20s now, I have so many friends in all these different places. It's like it's a plane ticket, and I'm sleeping on people's couches and having a blast. So,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you like? Maybe, I feel like I'm being generous here. Maybe like a 30-minute commute out of wherever you're going in New York, based on the subways and the
Okay, so a couple examples. Two of my dear friends, one of them actually just moved to Portland. So when I go to New York, I'll stay at her place because she rents out this little small spot in her apartment,
Right.
which is right on the Long Island Piers. Long Island City
Airbnb,
Piers.
baby.
Yeah. Now, granted, when I go, I don't do anything but just buy her dinners and shit, and free place to stay. But
You sling it to her. That's how you get the rent.
right. What's great about
And it's not a her.
Whoa. What?
well, hey, John's trying to taking it real left.
Only on the surface. Only on the surface is it her.
Yeah. What's great about if you were to look at a map and you were new to New York City, you'd be like, holy shit, you live LIC, you live across the river. How the hell do you get in the city? I walk out of her place, go literally across the street, get on the 7, and it takes me 6 minutes to get from there to Grand Central. And from Grand Central, I can get where the fuck I want to go in the city. So it takes me 7 minutes to get into Manhattan. And then
Wow.
it takes me to get across town sometimes takes a little bit more time because you have to transfer trains. But if you're going up or downtown, you can take an express train and be from Harlem to Midtown in 15 minutes.
You can ask somebody how much do you pay in rent and know how bad their commute is.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
like, if you live in Queens, like, I had a couple friends that I stayed with at one point that lived down in Queens, and, like, you couldn't just get on the subway from
No.
your house.
Right.
Like, the E and the F were, like, 2 buses away. So, like, they're in New York City, but to get to Manhattan, if, like, I was a tourist,
Yeah.
so, like, I'm going to Manhattan, to get to Manhattan's, like, a 45-minute,
From
50-minute
Queens.
ride.
You know what's when I was
and
up
2 buses that you think you're going to get raped or
Yeah.
mugged on.
Absolutely. Hey,
That's
Beverly is hanging out with us. Thank you so much for hanging out. Dude,
Bev.
I have not. This is Bev from like back in the old school days. Yeah. You remember her? She hung out with us a lot. Beverly, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. You chilling. Hey, what's going on with the feed, man? I'm showing broadcast interrupted. All right, we're fixed.
Fucking government,
We're
dude.
good. Yeah, dude. Donald Trump is
That
not cool. with his
damn
New York talk.
Comcast.
Comcast, commies, right? No.
Not that we won't take a sponsorship. It's okay.
If
Long
you are
story
with Comcast-
short, if you're gonna move somewhere for the sake of transportation, move to a city with subways.
That's absolutely fair. So, I mean, really, legitimately, your commute, and we're talking Grand Central, et cetera, your commute is damn near the same as it would be if we're talking like going from maybe Tunnel Hill to downtown. Something like that here in Chattanooga.
Oh, Tunnel Hill, good God.
I mean, it's not bad. It's before Dalton, right? I mean, so...
Still, though, that's a trip, man.
I'd say Ringgold.
Yeah, maybe.
Ringgold to downtown? Really?
I've got a buddy that, before he quit, his first job in New York City, he, again, lived in... Harlem's got some really cool spots. Harlem's, being gentrified in a lot of places.
Gingerfied?
Gentrified.
Oh, I thought it
No,
was like...
the hipsters aren't moving.
Right.
I was like, there's a bunch of redheads and freckles coming in there? What the
But to get from where he was, and his job was in Brooklyn, so the minute anyone in New York hears that, they're like, fuck that. But people do it all the time, and it was an hour commute. So if he had to be at work at 8, he had to be on the subway at 7.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize, like I said, I have a lot of friends who've moved there, and whenever you're talking to them, a lot of people don't realize that the boroughs are their own separate
Oh, yeah,
thing.
dude.
Like a lot of people, if you live in Brooklyn,
You live in Brooklyn.
If you work in Brooklyn,
Hey, we have
you
lost.
live in
We
Brooklyn.
have literally lost everybody because there's obviously something going on with the podcast. So,
Oh, no.
let's take a look at the stream real quick,
no.
John, and see what's going on because everybody's commenting, going, "Broadcast was interrupted.
All right, well, let's go.
The stream is broken. Everybody's pissed. I'm sorry.
I didn't do it.
You guys are so loud.
You motherfucker."
All right, well, you want to go on a break?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So go ahead. Yeah, live video interrupted. The broadcast has been paused. So if any of you can still hear us right now, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Take a break, girl.
Give me some 5 and 6, John.
Casting pods all over this motherfucker. Because that's what you do with one of these things, right? This is the Rejected Radio Podcast.
I'm ready when you are.
Give me some 5 and 6, girl.
5 and 6 is already up, Bubba.
It may not milk your prostate, but hey, it's free.
Indeed.
Now back to the Rejected Radio Podcast.
So Comcast hates us, apparently. Thought we'd escaped from the FCC realm when we went podcasting, but apparently that is incorrect. Rejected Radio, thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. I appreciate how...
The 2 people that we're going to have left.
No, we've actually, they're coming in as we go, and I thank you guys so much for hanging out. They're like, and everybody's getting pissed off. What the hell's going on? I can tell you it's not on our end. I don't know if it's Comcast or Facebook. For some reason, we keep failing as we go through this, but hopefully...
Yeah, we're running the exact same setup we've been running for 3 nights now, testing. Haven't had an issue.
Well,
haven't
last
had
night-
anything going. And we're having trouble even loading, like, our own Facebooks.
Yeah.
Like,
so-
it's not just the
Dude,
stream.
it's the fucking
like
government,
the internet.
dude.
It
They
is,
want to
man.
shut us down, motherfuckers.
You know what happened? You
Dude, it's
talked
Obama.
shit about Donald Trump and the trannies last night. That's what happened. Now they're like, if they get back on, we're just going to shut them the fuck down. That's what happened. Donald Trump and the
my God.
trannies, and you ruined it for us. So well done, John. Hats off, you jerk.
Good work.
Couldn't help
Good
myself.
God. But anyway, so I am here. Tommy, thank you for joining in with us. Producer John is here. And, of course, Chris is here as well. And so we're hanging out. And, of course, like I said earlier, this podcast brought to you by Natty Light.
Sure.
For those of you who want Bud Light, but on a child support budget. Natty Light. I'm pretty sure that should be their tagline somewhere. It's a pretty good one. You don't think so?
No,
Pretty
that's-
sure it would sell the booze.
Natty Lights, I don't think it's for dads on child support. It's like, hey, you're a kid down at your stepdad's, creek. That's what it is.
That is,
Yeah.
that is true. Ryan, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, man. We appreciate that. So it is time to do a taste test, the Rejected Radio taste test. We've done this before, so in front of each and every one of you, we have the newest flavor of Not Your Father's. All right,
Oh,
so
nice.
it started with Not Your Father's root beer, and now
Citrus brew.
there's so much more of it. What do we see tonight? We saw Not Your Father's apple pie, Not Your Mother's strawberry rhubarb.
That was the
What
one that got me.
Rhubarb?
Yeah,
It's a
there's
very northern thing.
There's Not Your Father's ginger ale. So all this is coming out. Tonight we are going to crack the top, and we are going to try Not Your Father's Mountain Ale, which is going to be pretty much a
This
Mountain
is
Dew.
alcoholic.
It is. Yes, it is.
See, you guys are
This is just
catching.
alcoholic Mountain
You guys
Dew.
are catching me on a rare night because I don't drink sodas at all.
If you guys ever wondered how much we drink on this podcast,
It does
That's
smell.
3 days, not including all the cans.
It does smell citrusy. It's
Does
got
it?
a great.
Does it smell like Mountain Dew? Because that's what it claims to be.
It's not a twist off, so let me pop
See,
the top on
outside of alcohol, I'm actually a very, very health conscious person. So, like, I'll take a
Except
sip
for
of
the
this.
Domino's you had earlier.
Oh well, again, cheat days, bro. Cheat days. It's pizza. You got everything.
Hey, I gotta shame you because, like me, I'll eat Domino's every day because I
Sure.
don't give a fuck.
Right.
But
Right.
you're a friend of mine. I like care that you care about
Sure.
your own health.
Sure.
So I have to shame you into not doing it.
Y'all want to
next
know
time.
how I wake up every day, especially being someone who's been through detox, things like that. So, like last night before, we've kind of had a bender here. It's been a lot of fun. We've been working hard, getting this place set up. So, like, we killed a lot of stuff last night,
Yeah, we did.
alcohol-wise. But I'll wake up every day. I've got this weird concoction that I make. It's got hydrate, electrolyte things in it. Chug it, coffee. I don't eat usually till noon. I'll intermittent fast. I
I don't wake up till noon. So
and then
that's
I
odd.
juice. I juice every single day, and then I get back into the game hard as fuck.
All right,
So
let's-
hey, here's
hang on.
I
this
just
is
cheated a little.
Don't taste it yet. Let's read the
I
side
already
of the
cheated.
bottle. Let this refreshing citrus brew take you to new heights. Elevate your taste buds with balanced and bright flavors achieved through true craftsmanship. We know you'll enjoy it. We do. Not your father's McNelly. You guys ready?
I'm ready. I've already
Ready to turn it up?
I like their branding though.
All right, here we go. Let's try it.
Small Town Brewery makes specialty beers that utilize.
That is
fantastic.
Mountain Dew. That is dangerous.
Wow.
That is straight up Mountain Dew.
That is incredible.
I didn't even taste the alcohol.
And it's 5% by volume. These could really make your night so much better in such a quick.
Yeah, they're playing a dangerous game.
How many more of these do we have? We have 3 more.
We have 3 more, so that's 2 each.
That's all I'm gonna drink.
Hey,
So
cheers,
you guys
cheers,
can-
fellas. Everybody in middle.
Cheers.
We don't have a room camera yet.
Yes, we don't have a room cam. There we go. You know what? I'm gonna down it. I don't give a shit.
I'm not gonna chug it, but it is good.
Sure. No. Anytime you can get a cold, carbonated,
It burns
sugary
like
soda.
Mountain Dew. Whew.
Yeah.
It's Mountain Dew. It is. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
That tastes more Mountain Dew than the gas station knockoff Mountain Dew. Tastes Mountain Dew.
Remember when Mountain Dew...
Should have had that at our class reunion. Yeah, we should have, Ryan. It would have been so much more entertaining.
I didn't go to mine. Mine was this last weekend. I didn't go.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, guys, I'm gonna give this an 11.
It is very good.
For it to be booze and Mountain Dew.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, I will say...
What about you, John? Scale of 1 to 10, where are you at?
Scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 9.
That's some good shit.
I think now...
I don't even drink soda, and it's still... it's obviously tasteful. It's great.
I will
That beats
say
the root beer,
it
I'm not
has
gonna
a
lie to you.
lot
Ooh,
of
root beer.
carbonation. Like, I keep catching myself burping, and I've only had a few sips of it.
Yeah.
Like, it has a lot of carbonation. And
I'm
the other
working a
thing is,
couple up.
at the local Party Mart where we bought this, I think it was like $11 for the 6-pack.
So
Erroneous.
Yeah.
Erroneous.
They're killing it.
It's worth it. It is worth every
I'm not saying it's not
penny
worth
spent.
it, but it's not the Natty Light. It's not for us to get to that
Because the whole
point.
time I'm thinking, if I drank even just one of these, all that sugar would make me feel like a little sluggish bitch, you know?
See, that's the thing. I feel like this is kind of like dropping a Jaeger bomb, right? Because Jaeger bombs, you've got obviously Jaeger and Red Bull, which one speeds your heart rate up and the other one slows it down. You're pretty
Sure.
much just asking for a heart attack.
Right. You've been there, done that.
Been there, done that. I'm thinking I'm probably going for number 2, but god damn, it's good.
See, your body... Everyone's body's the same. We've all positioned ourselves
Keep
to
me off camera. I've got to go get another one.
to
Grab me one while you're
maintain.
in there.
Fuck you.
Like Sting keeps little Debbie's in his pocket during the day so that so that he can maintain a certain level.
I wish I had my fudge round in my pocket right now. Fuck you.
So now that he's
Yeah, but
gone,
like, I don't know how you are about fruity drinks, but like, I was never a fruity drink.
no. A black coffee, straight whiskey, cheap beer. I'll have a good IPA, but I'm not some
Hey, now, that
beer
pineapple
snob.
IPA from 2 nights ago was pretty good.
That's
too.
not bad. No,
Oh yeah, but
Sweetwater.
that's Sweetwater. Sweetwater, I will have to say, this is a free plug. Like, we're not getting paid by these people. Of all of the craft
Hey, I found
beers,
that carbonation. Sorry.
you found it, yeah.
I did.
I will say, out of all of the craft beer breweries, like the ones that are kind of on that edge where they
Sure.
call themselves a craft
Right,
brewery,
right.
but they're still mainstream, like the Sam Adams.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Ow. Oh, wrong side.
Sweetwater is my favorite out of all of the
No, they're
brews.
great.
Like, they do a very good job with their seasonals.
They do.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, again, we got this in, you're from here. I know that you're in Ohio now, but we got this from Party Mart in East Ridge is where they actually had it.
What's the Party Mart?
Party Mart is that place that you and I used to go get
if
beer.
you're coming straight down Spring Creek,
We actually got a couple of kegs from there at one point in time. But
if you're coming down Spring Creek, coming into East Ridge, and it dead ends into Ringgold Road, it's that place that is right across the street with like gas blacked out, where the sign
that
came
place.
from their whole place.
Oh, the Party Mart.
the Party Mart. And
God.
hey, and I asked the guy beforehand, I was like, do you guys do samples? He was like, ha ha ha, no.
Do you do samples at your gas station?
No, but
that
this
you-
guy was hilarious. Like, I've never heard, like, how do I say it? I've never heard one of these proprietors talk the way he did. He's just like, we're like, oh, this looks like it'd be good. And he's like, yeah, that's good shit.
Fuck yeah, it is really good. You should try it.
Thank you. It did very, very good.
Very, very
shit.
good. How many 6-pack we got on the shelf right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's really good shit. Just get it. And we did.
Yeah.
He's one of those places that
I don't regret it.
I know this is a little off topic, but it's really not. Do you guys have any of these other places that are local places that may not have the best prices in the world, but you would rather go there just because the people are decent?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
I mean,
I don't mind paying him $11 for a six-pack because he's a good guy and he's always treated me
exactly. It's like Cheers, you know? Come on.
Where everybody knows your name. Really? That's it?
Yeah.
Nobody?
I think about it. I wonder what it was like to be fucking Ted Danson in the goddamn 80s and 90s.
Oh, dude, he was a badass.
He was the cream of the crop. Killing it.
I mean,
killing it.
I love Cheers. It's like, give me some 5 and 6. Give me some 5 and 6, John. I don't know if we should yet. Nope, not yet. Hang on. But have you ever seen a sitcom like Cheers where it's like, wow, that is exactly where I want to be? Like, I've never, ever. Give me some 5 and 6.
All right, here you go.
Oh, yeah.
See, I went on a bender with Cheers because again, it was past our time. Cheers was something our parents watched and grew up with. Probably around our ages now, which is funny to me.
Yeah.
And I remember I was working at Mattress Firm at the time, and because of that job being my age,
sometimes you want. Oh, wrong part.
Yeah,
This is the long version. Damn it.
Either way, I remember I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch Cheers.
Bitch.
I've never seen it. And the next thing you know, I was like, I'm going to watch this whole fucking series.
Norm, I never understood him until I got married and was older. And then I watch episodes and I'm like, that's the guy I want to be. Everybody knows your name.
Wait, was this a part of Chiseled? Was this a part of Chiseled Carpet? Was this in the song?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was that and Friends, right? That was all your idea.
You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
See, I grew up homeschooled and sheltered, so I didn't know TV.
Yeah.
And Sting did, so...
The Cheers theme song was great. The only one that is better, and God, I wish Boner was here for this one because he and I used to belt out this theme song. Hang on for a second. Let's make sure, yeah, give me some. 5 and 6.
Oh, yeah.
Travel down the road and back again.
This is garbage.
Your heart is true. You're a power and a
fuck Betty White.
confidant. Take it, John. Go. Through a party.
Hey, what's her name? Who was the taller?
B. Arthur.
Dorothy. B. Arthur did shit during World War II for the military. She was like one of those bad bitches that whole poster's based around. You know, the chicks that we can do it or whatever. Like, she was that kind of gal. I think it's fascinating.
There's several of them like that, though. Like,
The Golden Girls is probably one of the most iconic sitcoms of all time because nobody thought at that point in time, and you're a TV guy,
right?
And nobody thought at that point in time that this would ever work.
It killed, dude.
We're going to take 4 senior citizens, put them in a house together, and make a sitcom about them. Remember, I was like,
and women
that's fucking
during
stupid.
Yeah.
the one I thought was funny is, the oldest person on that, Edna, or whatever,
Yeah.
like the character?
Okay,
She's actually
wait.
the youngest actress.
Really?
Hang on. If we're going to do this, we're going to do this right, okay? Edna?
I'm just saying.
I don't
You know what
think
I'm talking
so.
about. What's her name?
Betty White was Rose.
Okay, that's not who I'm talking about.
B. Arthur was Dorothy.
Now, who I'm talking about?
Rue McClanahan was Blanche.
Yeah. Blanche was
It's
everybody's
not who I'm
favorite.
talking about. Are
And
you
Estelle Getty was Sophia.
Okay, Estelle Getty
Sophia.
was the youngest actress on the show.
You son of a bitch. Do not ever.
And she was actually... What's funny is she was playing the oldest character.
Right, because she aged obviously so
But
poorly.
she was...
It was all makeup. And here's another thing
Really?
here's another thing about Estelle Getty. She was only like 6 months older than B. Arthur, who was her daughter on the show. So Dorothy and Sophia was mother and daughter.
Wow.
She was only
she was 6 months younger.
Or 6 months younger, sorry. So the makeup was fantastic, but also she had done Broadway all her life.
Yeah.
She was terrified to do a multi-camera sitcom.
Oh, I bet.
She was so she had so much stage fright that I believe I read somewhere that she would drink a little bit before the camera started rolling every time, just to kind of kill the nerves. But funniest character on the show.
That's fascinating.
Betty White did too, though. She actually, there was a thing I saw here a little while back. She was talking about how
I want to drink with Betty White.
she was talking about how much vodka put into it. Somebody was like, "How do you take care of yourself to get this old?" She's like, "I don't know." She's like 2 or 3 martinis a day. Like
Early on, I used to drink before going on to sets or stages all the time. But then the older I got, I was like, this probably isn't the best idea, but
Hey, Sammy. Sammy's watching right now. Thank
You know,
Sammy, for hanging out.
it's I was talking to somebody the other day, and the thing about Betty White was, and I had not really realized this until after I had talked to somebody about it, but because I worked in TV for a long time, like behind the scenes, and she predates television.
Oh yeah,
she does.
She was actually a radio host.
Yeah, that's how she
and
got
then
her start.
she was on NBC when they first went on the air.
Yeah, she was like 19 when she got into the game.
Let me interrupt real quick because this is kind of off topic, but a lot of people have asked this question. Matthew is the most recent one that's asked this question. What do you mean when you guys say give me some 5 and 6? Okay, so obviously that is something that we're trying to kill. But in the meantime, we are testing out the studio, doing some new things. So let me show you what give me some 5 and 6 means. All right, so producer John over here is running the board for us. This will be the soundboard that we're using.
You're not on it at all. You're like not showing it at all.
There we go. Are we close?
5 and 6 is the stereo return that's coming from his computer.
So 5 and 6, when I find something on the computer that I want to play for you guys, 5 and 6 gives it to me.
If I have something on the computer that I want to play, I'm controlling the stream. So it's easy for me.
That's what we mean by give me some 5 and 6.
He has to come in as a separate input.
Right there.
And
right
the other thing is, and a lot of people don't realize how much goes into a show like this, but the other thing is like, we have to keep him turned down all the time because whenever he clicks on something on YouTube, it might be an ad.
Yeah, we're not playing an ad for an Oldsmobile. Fuck that.
Exactly. So, like, whenever he says, okay, now give me some 5 and 6, it's because he's like, okay, the ad is over. You can come to me now.
Hook me up with some 5 and 6. Yeah, so that's what we're doing there. So if you were wondering, like Matt was, that's exactly what that means. There you go. But back to Betty White. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And she was actually, when Betty White started in TV, Life with Elizabeth was the first show that she was ever cast on. That show was a live TV sitcom.
Yeah.
Live sitcom.
All of them were, because there was no such thing as going to tape.
Right.
Exactly. But can you imagine?
Because I remember even the NBA, when they went live, everything was pre-recorded back in the day. And then eventually sports were like, hey, this is a live, and then they started recording shit to play it for later dates. So, yeah.
Well, it's like I come from the technical side of this. So it's like whenever you think about it, they went from, these companies were literally radio channels.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they only had the ability to play live radio shows.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here comes these cameras that they can pipe in live.
Right.
But that's all they could do. There was no such thing as going to tape.
You're right, and that's so weird. I mean, think about it, and I guess you're probably the best one to ask about this because you are the actor.
Maybe.
You've been out on sets, you've done scripts, things like that, and you obviously have the leisure of this. If you mess up a script or something, you can go back and read the script. Think about doing a live sitcom. I mean, holy crap.
You
We've
can
seen
go back
the
and
bloopers.
watch. After they came out with tape, what they actually did originally was, and this is getting a little nerdy, but what they did originally was they actually recorded the live shows to tape for posterity. Like, it wasn't, or to replay it, but they still couldn't play, they still had to record it live. So there was, you had that, but the other part of that, Sting, that a lot of people overlook is like whenever you watch these old game shows and stuff, the commercials were live. So if your commercial was if your show was brought to you by Winston Cigarettes, it was, all right, now spin the wheel. And then after you're done, this show's brought to you by Winston Cigarettes. Smoke until you're happy.
Pull me back up.
So, like, everything was live.
Just to give you an idea, the Rejected Radio podcast brought to you by Not Your Father's Mountain Ale. Is it? Damn it. Got to bring it in so close. Not Your Father's Mountain Ale. If you enjoy Mountain Ale, Mountain Dew, it's a Pepsi product. If you enjoy Mountain Ale and you want to get drunk, this is your go-to. Not Your Father's Mountain Ale. Find it in stores now. Back to you, John.
All right, well, real quick, before we change...
Cirrhosis and diabetes.
All together
all
in one
at the
beautiful
same time.
green bottle.
May cause... Anyway. I don't want to go there today.
Actually, hang on. According to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcohol beverages during pregnancy because of the risk of birth defects. Consumption of alcoholic beverages impair your ability to drive cars or operate machinery and may cause health problems. Back to you, John.
Back to me, because I have another question. But before that,
Yeah.
you just brought up another good point.
Right.
This is Mountain Dew. So wasn't the thing going around here a little while back that the yellow 5 would cause your dick to shrink?
The yellow what?
What are you talking about?
The colorization in Mountain Dew.
Wait a minute. My dick is already small. I don't need... Hang on.
The colorization.
Yellow 5, son of a bitch!
Yes, the colorization in Mountain Dew is yellow number 5.
Sure.
And there was this thing going around that Mountain Dew would shrink your dick because yellow number
Oh
5
my God!
shrink your dick. So my question is,
I'm divorced.
this is not good because now you get whiskey dick
I've already
and
drank
yellow
2 of
5
these
dick
things.
all in
And y'all
one.
wonder why I don't drink this shit, you know?
already drank
So I
2.
optimize my juices. I optimize my juices specifically for my manhood as well, because there are certain fruits and vegetables
It's shrinking as we speak.
like watermelon, like beet, like celery.
Oh.
It goes straight to, for men and women, it goes straight to your reproductive organs. And so, because I'm a huge proponent of like, hey, when it's time.
He's a huge proponent because he's not got a huge dick.
I hope nobody on Tinder has
Says the
seen me
guys
drinking this.
drinking
The yellow
yellow
number
5. Yeah.
I figure it can only go so far, and I'm already probably.
You know, I actually, to be honest with you, I've seen this effect in place because when I was a kid, my dick was actually 14 inches.
Yeah, okay. Hey, but seriously,
8 years
back
old.
to what I was going to say before
8 years
this.
old, yeah.
We kind of touched on it, but Cheers, like
Yeah.
you were talking about, it makes you want to say like, "Hey, I want to be there."
Absolutely.
Right? Whenever I was coming of age, should we say, and I was at that age,
Yeah.
like the drinking age where it was legal. How I Met Your Mother was the same way. Like they went to the bar, they
Right.
went to their bar.
You know, I
And it
never
made
watched
me-
How I Met Your Mother. I really
Well,
probably
but-
should.
Great
Oh,
show.
binge
Well, I
watch the
think
show.
what it is, it's culture, it's community, it's people. Think about Friends. They had the coffee shop. How I Met Your Mother
No,
had
I
the
would have
bar.
loved to have
Like,
been to Central Park. Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Again, it's all about. This is one. So,
But like I wanted my own bar. I wanted a
Oh,
place
absolutely, yeah.
where everyone knew my,
My name, yeah.
But for me it wasn't Cheers because that wasn't our generation.
Right.
But it was. They would go to, I forget the name of the bar, but it was McNelly.
Yeah, something like that, right.
It was an Irish pub in New York where it's
Here's something.
and like it made me jealous that I didn't have a corner bar.
Right.
That was
Right.
my place.
What's funny to me about that and culture, because in the South, or a city like here, Atlanta might be a little bit different, but especially in Chattanooga, it's so spread out. But I go to places like New York or LA or Austin, especially New York, you have your neighborhood spots.
Yes.
And it's because you can literally walk there. You're living with your friends, most likely. And so what's funny to me is like Friends was developed around these characters who were in their late 20s into their early 30s. That's what the whole show is. And what's fun about that
And the
is
Central Perk was downstairs.
Exactly.
Like both of them,
Right.
The 2 apartments they had, or
Yeah.
the 3 apartments, one lived right across the street,
Yeah.
right across the hall from the girls, and then David Schwimmer's character lived right across the road.
So-
it was like
so-
the Central Perk. I almost wonder if those characters had been real people. Was it really that they liked the coffee shop, or was it that it was downstairs?
well, it's convenient. Everyone drinks coffee. They're all hanging out. Like, so there's a couple spots in LA that I still go to with friends because it's just where we fucking hang out. Same with New York and definitely Austin, which I would say most of my friends our age are at now. So.
Right. But here's the next thing. I mean, and thinking about this, because obviously it's a sitcom.
Right.
But here was the brilliant thing about Cheers, and this is why I respect Cheers so much. There's a few sitcoms that I watched, and I'm like, wow. Three's Company was one of them.
That's good. John Ritter.
Yeah, Home Improvement was one of them. Cheers is another one. And the great thing about Cheers was you could incorporate so much possibility into one sitcom because it is a group setting.
Sure.
And it kind of followed the personal lives a little bit. Like we would go see, Diane and Sam
Well,
kind of
remember
go out
when
and do
Mort?
the thing.
What was it? Was it Mort?
But you got Frasier from Cheers.
Well, no, I'm saying, remember, like, you would follow their lives, and all of a sudden one of them's going through marital problems.
Norm.
Norm. I don't
Yeah.
know why I said
Right.
Mort, but either way, yeah.
But see, but shows like that, it's like what you're saying though is like those are always been the best shows.
You
the
get
shows where
emotionally
you don't
invested.
know who the main character.
Well, right, well, you
Exactly.
have
So,
because
like-
they've built a world rather than following a couple of characters.
Exactly, and I think like things like The Big Bang Theory and stuff like that, they people don't realize that they pull in on that because the show is not, even though Leonard may be the main character,
Sure.
it'll follow Sheldon and them, it'll follow
Absolutely.
Penny, it'll follow whatever, and because they can move around so much, it's not like there's a show on ABC or Freeform now. I think it used to be ABC Family, but there's the Young and Hungry show or whatever, but it only follows the one character.
Right.
Like, you
Right.
have the one main character,
Polarizing.
and
you
then
can't
you
do
run
that
out
anymore.
of stuff to talk about.
Right.
But Cheers was so before its time. I mean, honestly, this show debuted in 1982, and you were so involved in what Sam and Diane had going Then she splits,
Yep.
right? And then you got Kirstie Alley back on. But from Cheers, we got another, probably one of the most iconic sitcoms of the 90s in Frasier.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even a main character.
And
he
the beautiful thing,
he
right.
He was a bit guy for a while.
He was a very
Yeah.
bit guy. Like, he wasn't in every episode. He wasn't like a Norm that was in every episode.
And the beautiful thing about Frasier is if you take Frasier and follow that whole series,
Yeah.
You had a lot of cameos from Norm,
Yeah.
who just happened to be in Seattle on business, or Sam, Ted Danson, who
Yeah.
happened to be in Seattle on business, or Frasier went back and visited Boston, and there was Cheers.
Right.
I mean, it was, that's such a beautiful marriage.
And
bringing
those
two together.
writers are so when we rewrote Mac and Drew, I'll go into at least this because this is the topic we're on.
Yeah.
Because again, we were trying to sell it to.
Coming to a network near you.
Yeah, we were making it more family oriented, and
Check
then
your local listings.
Check out TLC.
yeah. And then I was encouraged, like, hey, dude, you don't think this way, you don't operate this way. This is why the writing sucks, because you're actually not writing this you're not writing this because you think it's funny. You're writing this for other people. Write what you think is funny. And so when we went back and overhauled everything, we actually wrote it in the same vein of a Parks and Rec, an Office, a
Right.
Cheers, because what we did was we based it around a world that existed rather than one or two characters. And now we've got a show that can exist for 3, 5, 7 seasons rather than something that a great example. There's a show that came out a couple years ago called About a Boy, and it was actually a great fucking show, well produced, but Minnie Driver was in it. What's his name? Either way,
Minnie Driver's in that?
Yeah, the show ended.
She's been busy. She was like,
Right,
she was
well, she's
in
in
nothing
Speechless
for a long
now.
time.
Right.
And she was in Speechless and that at the same
Right.
time.
Well, the
She
show.
must have got broke like MC Hammer or something. Needed
I
some
doubt
work.
it. Either way, the show ended so quick, and I saw it coming in the second season because I realized they have nothing else to talk about. They have nothing else to show.
Right.
And by the end of the second season, and I get why it happened, because About a Boy was based off a book, which became a movie with Hugh Grant, and then they decided this is going to make us money, so let's turn it into a sitcom. And it was actually really good, but you can only go so far with that type of show, and that's why after 2 seasons, it's gone. And then you
Right.
see stuff like Parks and Rec that makes it 7, and they quit because they're actually all just done doing it for 7 years. It was like Steve Carell when he left the office. 7
Yeah.
years? I'm good.
Well, yeah, but you hit on a good point because, like, I want to go back to you in a second, but I just wanted to say, like, Kevin Smith, who everybody knows from the Clerks series, from Chasing Amy, everything else, he made a comment here a little while back because he made this movie Tusk that almost nobody liked.
Right.
It was actually decent, but it wasn't good. Now
His
he's
films
doing,
have
like,
been here or here.
Well, but now he's doing this
Critically.
one with his daughter in it called, like, Yoga Masters or something like that. It's like a ninja show with his
Yeah.
daughter is like in yoga. And everybody asked him, like, what the fuck, essentially. And he's like, I'm not here to make shows for anybody else. He's like, I wasn't here
Right.
to make shows for anybody else whenever I made Clerks.
Right.
He's like, I wanted to make things that I wanted to see
Yep.
that nobody else was making. And he's like, whether anybody else liked it or not didn't fucking matter because nobody was making what I wanted to see.
Sure.
Right.
That's the best advice. 2 things. One, I remember listening to an interview with Seth Rogen. I'm not actually a huge fan of him, but him and James Franco made a pact when they were getting involved in making their own movies. They said, let's just make shit that we think is funny. Who gives a fuck if no one else likes it? We like it, and we think it's funny, and we think we're funny. And that's a great motto to have.
If you were good enough whenever you made your first show that now anybody will just give you money to
Exactly.
make something, then fuck it.
Then
Yeah.
you're doing something right. Yeah,
Right.
so here's what we're going to do. Let's take a quick break. I actually like where this is going, man. Plenty more sitcoms and stupid shit to talk about. We're going to come back for one more segment. Everybody good with that?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So thanks for hanging out with us. Chill with us for about 5 minutes. Can take a quick break. We'll be right back. It's the Rejected Radio Podcast.
Gotta go break the seal.
Give me some 5 and 6, John.
4 out of 5 downloaders agree. This is definitely the Rejected Radio Podcast. Cheers was filmed before a live studio audience.
Just not
This
this one.
wasn't. Now back to the Rejected Radio Podcast.
You know, we can't use that sweep anymore because it's actually being recorded in front of a live studio audience. On Facebook, at least. Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Evan's here. Tiffany's here. Sammy's here. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's the Rejected Radio Podcast. My name is Josh Boner. Will be joining us. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with producer John. Put yourself on camera. Oh, there he is. And Chris McNelly, who is fondling a light switch. Oh, lights.
Sorry, I knocked it off.
Oh, my God.
Didn't mean to.
There's McNelly. There he is.
Hello.
How you guys doing? Everybody good? Beautiful. All right.
It's funny that you said that about your imaging a second ago.
Yeah.
Because I was actually editing the show to put it on YouTube earlier. Spoiler alert, we're going on YouTube. And you have another image that's like not live and not scripted. And I was like, pretty sure it is live.
Right? So we were talking about sitcoms earlier.
Gonna be this gay.
Yeah, dude, it's
What
Friends.
I feel way.
Potentially, and I'm not even going to say potentially, the most iconic sitcom
I faded out. That's when you faded out.
of our time. Yeah, you should probably do
Yeah,
that.
you should
Copyright
fade it.
infringement. Yeah, yep,
You
okay.
get 15 seconds for free.
The most iconic sitcom I think of our time was Friends, and it kills me because I've got, like my cousin. He's 10 years younger than I am. No clue about.
Oh, I
Friends.
bet.
He has no idea. And when you watch Friends, so much of the iconic stuff, and I really kind of want to bring this up because it's just hilarious. McNelly is actually an ordained minister now.
I am. Online.
His sister got married, 2 or 3 months ago, right?
Oof, what, April? May? It was
God,
April.
was it that long?
It was April. Yeah, because Will got married. It was April, and yeah.
Okay, so we're
You
3
will get married to your sister.
No,
3
it
months
was
ago.
about. I was trying to think of the dates. Either way.
But so she just got married, and you did the ceremony.
Ah, yes.
And the first part of the ceremony was the ceremony between Ross and Rachel.
Yep.
On Friends, or was
No,
it
no,
Joey
no.
and
So,
Chandler? Joey
okay,
and
to
Chandler,
back
Joey and
up.
Monica, Chandler and Monica. Ah!
So what's funny is you had mentioned how like your cousin doesn't know anything about Friends, but what's crazy about just life, like remember, Oliver. I remember. I'm going somewhere with this. I remember being at your dad's house down by the creek, and I literally know who Led Zeppelin is because of your dad. You
Right,
know,
of course.
because that's what he listened. So what's funny is my sister, who did get married, a couple months ago, and I emceed her wedding, but she loves Friends, and so her son Jaden is obsessed with Friends. And how funny is that? Because this kid's 5, 6, maybe, and he knows this show that came on before he was ever born and was off the air before he ever existed. But I did. It was actually a suggestion from my eldest sister. She thought it would be funny if I did the bit where Joey is marrying Monica and Chandler, and he has no fucking clue what he's talking about. And I did that, and it was actually really sweet because about 6 words in, my sister, who's like over just every emotion you could think of is going through her brain. This is her day, and she has this giggle, and I just remember her kind of looking at me, but kind of looking at her husband's eyes, and literally she just goes, "You're an asshole."
But no, so you did the whole Monica Chandler ceremony as Joey.
Yep.
In
Well,
the
I didn't
sitcom.
do it as Joey. I just said the lines.
Right, but
yeah.
Joey was obviously the one that was ordained at the time.
What's funny is my grandmother didn't know any of this, and you could tell she just thought it was good.
Right.
It was not at all.
This wasn't in the TV guide.
But you watch you watch Friends. There's so many obviously iconic moments in that show. The pivot scene when they're carrying the couch.
Pivot! Yeah.
Pivot! Thanks, Ross. We
You did
appreciate
that shit to me whenever I was helping you move one time, and I just dropped it.
Pivot!
You're like, pivot! And I was like, fuck you! And I just dropped it where I think it was a bed for, no, it wasn't you. It was whenever we were moving Josh.
Yeah, who cares about that guy?
Either way.
But anyway, so we did the pivot scene. But obviously, I think my favorite episode, everybody has their different favorites, but I think my favorite episode of the whole series was the prom video episode. Do you remember that one?
Oh, with Rachel's nose, Monica was fat, Chandler
Monica.
had that stash. Yeah,
And
yeah,
You're
yeah.
My Lobster. Do you remember that one? That was so great. Phoebe was obviously always the comic relief on
Sure.
the show. But, Ross and Rachel weren't getting along, and she's like, oh, he's her lobster. Everybody's like, what the are you talking about?
Right.
Like, what does that mean? And at the end, obviously, we saw the prom video, and Rachel came back and kissed
Right.
Ross, and it was like, boom,
So,
all right.
so this is what fascinates me about shows like this because they were so iconic. They transcend time when it comes to television. It's kind of like Seinfeld. We could list a ton of shows. But
No soup for you.
what's crazy about that is Phoebe is Lisa Kudrow is older than my mom.
Right.
Adam Sandler's my dad's age. You know,
Holy
the Friends
God.
of Cast is around the same age as our parents. And so what fascinates me, going back to like we were talking about cities in New York, talking about people finding their crew, their friends. I am about to go into my 30s, and I was literally thinking about this the other day because I get manic a lot of times when
Right.
and it's like, okay, I'm going to go to New York and blow off some steam. But there's moments where it's just like, I really look forward to being 30-something, sitting at a coffee shop in New York with, again, most of my friends outside of the South are single and have no kids. And so that lifestyle actually makes sense to be in a coffee shop and it's 2 a.m. and you're 30 because that's what you do because you don't have kids and you're still going to be able to wake up and muster through the day.
You're right, but the other thing about those shows is now looking back and you see it. I was thinking about this the other night.
Yeah.
Like you see all these antique cars that you're like, oh man, I'd really love to have that.
Sure.
It's like a 60s car. Like a 66 Chevelle from like...
90s cars never had that appeal.
Wait,
no,
Steve.
90s cars never had that.
What did we take to prom?
A limo.
No.
let me
What was
finish real
it with
quick.
Bob's car?
Oh, my junior year, I took, it was a 1989, and this is going to sound ridiculous saying this, but at the time, I thought it was the most badass car in the
I
world.
still think it was awesome.
It was a 1989, I believe, Buick Riata.
Yeah.
Sports
see,
car,
what you're
two-seater,
saying, though-
all leather, digital. Think about this.
Digital, dude.
No, but seriously, think about it. 1989, this motherfucker was digital. All
Yeah.
right? It was badass.
But what I'm saying is like you see these shows like Home Improvement,
Sure.
where he's like working on this classic car, and then you think about it, and it's like a '60s model or a '70s model,
Right.
And this was shot in the '90s, so that car was only 20 years old.
Yeah.
So
But
now a '96 Civic is 21 years old.
Holy shit. We
So,
should,
like,
we
I
should
was
buy a
thinking about this the other
96
day,
Civic,
like,
soup it up, and just give it away.
Whenever you're our age, it's like I don't know why there's this disconnect, but it's like I see all these actors and I'm like, there's no way he's that old. And I look and he's like 70, and then
Yeah.
I realize, oh shit, it
Yeah.
has been 20 years since he was 50.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like that.
And
Well,
a
look
lot
at
of
Tim
actors
Allen.
or actresses, they get their break around their mid-30s, if I'm honest. And, who was it? Oh, shit. Well, now it lost me. It'll come to me. It won't matter anymore after this.
Well, look
Oh,
at Tim
man.
Allen.
come
All right,
in.
just to interrupt, look at Tim Allen. Look at Home Improvement. Home Improvement debuted in 1989. All right, and remember the first episode of
Right
Home
after he
Improvement?
got out of jail.
Wait, 89 is when it aired?
Yeah, remember?
No, I was born.
Mark, but you remember the pilot episode? He was working on the dishwasher, and Mark,
Right.
The youngest son, was like,
And
I
it
don't know,
and he gets electrocuted.
he gets
Yeah,
electrocuted.
yeah, yeah.
And Mark starts doing the dance with him, and he's doing the electric shock, whatever. But that was 1989. So think about it. I mean, Tim Allen then, full head of brown hair.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was Tim
Oh, yeah.
Allen, one of the funniest guys. And then look at the last season of Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
You know, right? He's all gray. He's getting there.
So it's been almost 30 years since the air of Tool Time.
absolutely.
Fuck.
But see,
That's
a lot
awesome.
of people don't realize
And
too,
crazy.
like, he had been a victim, if you want to call it that, of the whole cocaine era. In
I don't
the
think
80s.
anyone's a victim of
But
cocaine.
No, what I mean was he actually had just been paroled.
Oh,
whenever
yeah,
he
I know
got
that.
his shot. And it was funny because he goes in to work with this, and he's like, ABC's owned by Disney.
Right.
And ABC's putting this show on, and he's like, he went in for it. He didn't think he was going to get the show.
Right.
Like, he wasn't a big name like he is now.
There's
that
a
made him a big name.
Right.
So he's like, they do realize the show, working with kids, that I'm a parolee who
Yeah.
just got out
Yeah.
for
The-
working for trafficking
yeah.
cocaine.
And now I work for Mickey Mouse.
the
Bitch.
the producer of that show was the one that really made it happen. They just there's a quote that I love. A lot of people are betting on the horse, but I'm banking on the jockey. And so this producer was like fucking all in on Tim Allen rather than just the show's concept. They overhauled it like several times. And then Tim and the producer came back with the idea of let's take this rough cut edged guy and actually make this a family show, and it worked.
And
It
that was the
killed.
thing about Tim Allen was he came out with I believe it was an HBO special, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a stand-up HBO special called
yeah.
Men Are Pigs.
Yeah.
And in
It
the
was
Men Are
HBO.
Pigs, he talked about the power tools. He talked
Yeah.
about the souping up the car. The grunt, all that shit.
Can I tell y'all a real story about
Sure.
okay, so I'm in a pitch meeting for Mac and Drew with this very, very
Attractive young man.
No.
I happen to be on my knees.
So it's me
His
and our
pants
editor.
around his ankles.
Either way, this guy's probably in his late 60s, 70s. And his name's Steve Rosenthal. Okay, look, he's a classic Jew in Hollywood. No shit. Old school.
Totally uncircumcised.
I pitched this show, and he goes...
He's a Jew. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
I pitched this show, and I still have this piece of cardboard. I'll get to the cardboard. He's like, you know what I think you need to do? You ever seen Everybody Loves Raymond? I was like, yeah. You know how Raymond got his start? Tim Allen. He mentions all these stand-ups. He's like, you need to go do stand-up, okay? And make fun of your friend. You know, be your friend because, you know, he can't talk. No shit. This is what he said. You know, you.
And for the record, this is a show about a gentleman with Down
So
syndrome.
yeah, this our TV show Mac and Drew is about me and my best friend Andrew,
Right,
who
but
happens.
people who are not in this room don't understand what Mac
Okay,
and Drew
right, sure.
is.
So Andrew-
he's essentially asking you to make fun of your friend with Down syndrome.
Exactly. And my best friend has Down syndrome. He's the greatest guy in the world. If you ever meet him, I mean, Sting,
Dude, great kid.
Yeah, he'll light up your world. And this guy was like, you need to make, you be your friend in your stand-up because, he can't because he's fucked in the head.
Oh my God.
Okay, so to preference this,
my God.
to preference this, our editor, her daughter, this is how we got connected. Her daughter, Anna, has Down syndrome, and she's a gem. And also, our editor is a huge advocate, a big individual in the disability community. And I just remember sitting there, and I just remember I kind of like grabbed like her wrist, the closest thing to just be like, don't lose your fucking shit.
Don't beat this guy up.
Don't
He will
murder
ruin you,
this
and
man.
you will never be in television
And
again.
so, no lie, he was like, I don't got a business card. Hang on. So he rips a piece of the back of his notebook off, not a piece of paper. It
The cardboard back.
Cardboard background, and he writes his email on it, folds it, and gives it to me.
God.
Still have it to this day.
Like,
Make fun of this
No,
guy
but-
all the time. But that was how Hollywood worked during that time was because stand-up was such a big fucking deal during the 90s,
Absolutely.
80s, to where it's like, let's take this personality that's
Right.
so relatable in this realm and let's
But it
make a
was new.
show. Yes.
That's another thing. Like
Yeah.
people, I'm a huge stand-up fan. And
Yeah.
stand-up was not a thing until the late 70s.
Right.
Like
Well, look at
people
people
don't understand
like-
that these comics were not a thing. So then in the 80s and 90s, everybody's like, oh, we got to give Jerry Seinfeld needs his own show.
sure. But look at and this is where I tip my hat to the 90s stand-up comics. Because obviously you're a stand-up comic in the late 80s, you ended up with your own sitcom. That pretty much happened. If you were worth a shit and you were in stand-up
Seinfeld,
comedy.
all those guys, yeah.
Yeah.
If you could be on, like people like
Jeff Foxworthy,
Rodney
I'm sorry,
Dangerfield
is
would
still
never be.
one of the funniest human beings on the face of this earth. Worth $1 million. One of the most humble people you'll ever freaking meet in your
He's
entire
just
life.
worth $1 million.
Well, millions of dollars. But if you look at...
but he is funny to a certain subset of
Yeah,
America.
certain
So to
demographic.
us,
Sure.
he's hilarious.
No, but that's not true. I mean, he could sell
I
out
actually
arenas
think
nationwide.
I think it's almost like we could compare Trump and Jeff Foxworthy when it comes to who is actually listening, because of the fact that there's a lot of people that will listen to Jeff Foxworthy because it's funny because they feel like he's making fun of a certain type of people. Same thing with SNL and how they, again.
Yeah.
So I
Jeff
get that.
Foxworthy pulls off the same thing that a lot of black comics do of he's allowed to make fun of the rednecks.
Because
and somebody
Absolutely.
else does it because he's one of them.
Right.
Let me-
So like
Right.
he gets that.
And that's why he translates across certain demographics.
Let me
He's
interject,
bigger than a Ron White
Sure.
or even Larry the Cable Guy. I hate Larry the Cable Guy. Not
This
as
is-
a person.
This is where I was going with this, though. I mean, honestly, Jeff Foxworthy, obviously one of the most iconic comedians in
Yeah.
the 90s.
Yeah.
If not still, I mean, one of the most iconic comedians now. I mean, dude is still
Oh shit,
absolutely
dude, he's
relevant.
doing Golden Corral commercials.
Yeah,
Goddamn,
he is.
dude.
Jesus Christ. Come say
I
our
watched
chocolate
his last
fountain.
Netflix special and it wasn't that great.
Doesn't
bet it
matter.
wasn't.
Bottom line is, Jeff Foxworthy was a computer technician at IBM
Yes.
in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Do you know where he told his first redneck joke? At the freaking water
Water cooler. Yeah.
in Atlanta at an IBM building, and dude is now one of the most iconic comedians of our time.
Apparently, he was always that guy in the office that was just really good to work with, great guy, great
Yeah.
sense of humor, and then he was encouraged, you should just go try stand-up, and he fucking killed.
Yeah, and
So-
one of my best friends actually installed the flooring in his house.
Nice.
But
And I
I
was
don't
like-
know what it is about that genre of comedy, though, that there's tends to be this, like, one-liner. Like, you might be a redneck. Get her done. Like that.
Not
that
true.
comedy
Jeff Fox. If you
just
put Jeff
doesn't-
Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy in the same category, I'm gonna come over this desk and punch you in the face.
No, I'm not saying that.
Totally different.
I would
guys.
love to
long-
see you get on top of this desk.
I can do it.
For a long time. What you're not seeing is he's naked in front of him. But no.
Wait, what?
Negative
Sorry,
one,
that'll
so-
be it. That'll be at 12:30.
Let's hope we cut that. All right, and moving on.
But no, what I'm saying, I'm not saying they're the same. What I'm saying is, for a long time, Jeff Foxworthy was making his money on "you might be a redneck" jokes.
Of course he was. It was his niche. I mean, everybody has a niche. Bill Engvall has "Here's Your Sign." Rodney Carrington has his songs. Ron White has "Tater Salad."
Exactly. Please name someone outside of this realm. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean,
you're saying the redneck. I'm talking about the redneck jokes. About the blue collar.
Everybody has
white
their own
Americans.
niche. George Carlin had the incomplete list of impolite words. That was his niche.
Let's be blunt. Every one of those comedians that do have in that redneck realm, they're talking to probably a very far less educated group of people. Let's be blunt. Like Mitch Hedberg,
Valid.
that motherfucker was genius. I mean, even Kevin Hart. He obviously translates more to an African American black community, obviously, but at the same time, that dude's jokes are so fucking smart. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Those three guys, you could put them all in a category. Why? It's the same dumb fucking redneck sense of humor, and it's like, oh, that joke was good.
Well, there's money to be made there.
Absolutely.
I'm not
yeah.
saying that there's not, and I'm not saying that they're successful, and I'm not saying that they're dumb. Because
And you know why that
that's very
works is because
smart.
that shit's gonna be on a hat. It's gonna be on a fucking airbrush
Exactly.
T-shirt. It's
They
gonna be
are
a pigeon
marketing
Ford,
geniuses.
and that's why it works. Because like, oh, dude, you see my new shirt?
Every one of them is a marketing genius.
Right.
I'm not saying they're not, because they make money off of these one-liners.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, for some reason, that genre of comedy tends to go toward these one-liners that then they beat to death.
Welcome
Jeff
to
Foxworthy-
comedy.
In this last special, Jeff Foxworthy tried this new, like, one-liner, essentially.
But dude, the whole thing is one-liners. Everything in comedy. Look at Jim Gaffigan. I love Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah,
I
he's
will watch
smart
him
too, man.
every time. But Jim Gaffigan his one-liner is him acting like he's the audience.
Oh yeah.
That's his
Well, that's
one-liner.
more of a shtick.
It's a shtick, but
It's a
still, I mean,
shtick.
it kind of goes in the same
See,
category.
stuff like this, though,
Look
is what
at
I'm
Jeff
excited.
Dunham. Jeff Dunham's one-liner is Peanut. You know what Peanut's going to
Jeff
say.
Dunham's using puppets, dude.
Dunham
You
is
know
a
what
one-liner.
Peanut's going to do, but it's still kind of his niche. It's his
Dude,
one-liner.
I gotta get into
Dunham
puppets.
is a one-liner. Because he's the only ventriloquist. Nobody else can come into the...
that dude.
That's kind of a gimmick that ran its time in vaudeville, and
Yes.
then until he brought it back...
Vaudeville.
Well, no, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, until he brought it back, it was nobody. So now, if anybody tries to come in, they're going to be compared to...
Dude.
Oh, you're just trying to be Jeff Dunham.
P.S. My first improv teacher out of
Take
the
me
UCB.
off camera. I'm not even paying attention to this conversation right now. You got me on camera the whole time. Stop.
My
Because I was
improv.
trying to give it back to you, and I'm like...
Jackass.
Either way, my improv teacher out in L.A. He had a YouTube channel. No, I'm not drinking that shit. All that sugar.
What? Give me some shit.
He
Fuck,
had
you've already had 3.
he had a
I'll bring
YouTube
another.
channel of all the puppets that he would do. It was really weird.
Yep.
Snapchatting.
Selfie.
Yeah, Sting.
He's either Snapchatting or he might be changing his Tinder profile to make him look more attractive. Look at me, I have my own podcast.
Why every time do we do a podcast do we have to bring up my Tinder profile? I don't understand why this has to
I'm
be like
trying
a
to give it
subject of every-
marketing. It's a plug for Sting
Sure.
so he can plug something else.
Please check out my Tinder if you swipe left. Fuck
Hey,
you.
you know what we need to
It's a
do?
plug
We
because
actually
we know
need
how
to
bad
bring
you need
in.
to plug a hole.
We need to
okay?
bring in about 6 different guys that are having struggles in their relationship life. No, hear me out.
Okay.
We need to bring in 6 guys, and then you guys need to allow me. I'm not saying I'm, have dogma on what it looks like in the process of
That was me.
going
Sorry.
on dates with women or getting what you want out of an online dating app. But we should bring these gentlemen in and fix their shit ass profiles and then see what happens to their love life
I
after
need to
that.
see
You know
a
what I
proof
think
of
we should do?
concept. You need to get him laid.
Time out.
Guys, I'm not God.
This wow. This is what I'm willing to do. All right, and I'm going to lay this down, and we can do the whole profile fixing later. But
Sure.
Why don't we do a rejected radio dating game?
I'm married.
No. For me, I'll be the guy that asks the questions. We'll have 3 bitches outside. Each of you can pick a bitch.
Why are they outside?
The fact that he just
Because
called
that's
them
how the
bitches
dating
and
game-
said they're not allowed in the room.
That's
is
how the
exactly
dating
why he's
game
had
works.
such
Dude, I'm not
trouble.
bringing more people here.
That's how the
I
dating
got
game works.
shit and
I'm
work
not
to do.
supposed to see them, but John can pick a girl, you can pick a girl, and we'll let Sammy pick a girl.
I'm picking the ugliest bitch I can find.
We'll let Sammy pick a girl, and then I can ask them the dummy questions like the dating game.
Sure,
and I can
sure.
pick one. And the great thing is I won't know who you chose, and I have to go on a date with whoever ends up being chosen.
So this is just for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
If we do this,
I'll take pictures you can enjoy later,
I'm
unless
getting-
it's John's girl.
I'm getting his sister to come on here.
Dude, that's fucked up.
Christ.
That is so. Wow.
Sorry,
Just
Hannah.
Yeah, sorry, Hannah.
I feel dirty even being a part of it. You know what? I'm done.
No,
Done.
I think I think we should do this this online profile game because it
I
translates,
feel like
man.
this is terrible. I really don't want to do my online profile game. I really don't.
For you, we will.
Oh, God.
And then we're gonna pay for your date, and then we're gonna send
You're going
you.
to pay for my date.
So when we fix your profile,
No, you're going to send me like Steak and Shake or
no,
something. You're going to give me a budget
we'll,
of like $15.
We'll get this fucking film. We're gonna fix your profile, and then we're going to set you up on a blind date via again a blind. It's still a blind date. You never met the person. You might have an idea about them. For the most part, and then we're gonna send you on a date in a decent relative location within
Jesus.
the Atlanta, Nashville,
Oh,
Birmingham.
my God. I'm not taking them out of town. Fuck that.
No, you're not going out of town. What if they're from out of town? Let's meet in a decent.
Jesus.
So this is gonna. We need to film this for your viewers for Sting because for those of you who don't know, Sting is divorced now.
I am divorced.
I'm pretty sure
obviously.
we've beat that in the ground over the
Yeah.
past 3 days.
Yep, let's
But-
keep hitting that horse.
I think the best way for you to get back into the game is to just be completely vulnerable and naked.
I really do. I agree with the
I
fact.
want to shoot a show called Naked and Afraid,
It'd just be me naked.
and it'll just be you naked.
and it's just Sting walking down Mac Smith Road, sad.
no,
butt
Max
naked.
Smith is small change. I'm talking peanuts here. We're gonna send him on Market,
Look,
completely fucking naked,
Market.
just walking straight down Market.
Here's the thing. All right, look. So obviously, yes, I am. But I
Oh,
do
P.S. I
agree-
forgot to say that the audience votes on who you go on a date
Oh,
with.
motherfucker.
Now, granted, this also means that you have to
He's
match.
hiding behind the logo at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
this means you have to match with them. So if you matched with them, and then what we'll do, it's almost like we'll do a NCAA tournament. It'll be March Madness for Sting's love life, and then we'll narrow this shit down for you, and then we'll actually allow you to. You get to pick the last 4 people in, and then we pick who you go on a date it with.
This is a terrible idea.
No, it's not terrible. It's free food. It's a free date. We'll go buy you a new outfit.
This is so. Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
This is a great idea.
This is the worst idea I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay, so you know what? Fine. Who cares? What I have to. You and I have talked about this, so I'm going to tell you if you're about to sign up to be a participant on this game that McNelly's playing.
I'm not playing it. I'm running it. You're the whole focus of this game.
All I need is a grunge fuck. Okay, that's all I need.
Jesus, dude. That's the word. This is why you haven't grunged fuck.
I haven't gone out and been like, hey, how are you? It's good to see. I need a grunge fuck.
Right.
No, that's not my pickup.
Well,
line.
here's the thing. You either need to be on one side of the fence or the other because.
I don't want a relationship. Are you high?
Right. So what I'm saying is we need one again. You still need to be a gentleman, all right, and still be a gentleman. Whether it's drinks, whether it's fucking shrimp or a goddamn ice cream, you can at least get to know each other and be comfortable. But we can make it known that hey, Sting's in a bad place and he just needs some fun.
Needs to do it. But here's the thing. He claims this like all the time to me.
What?
Like the grunge fuck thing.
Yes, it has to happen.
I need a rebound fuck. Like all this
do.
other. And yet he still swipes left. On
I
every
have
on Tinder.
standards, John.
No.
So
If
where am
it's
I
a
wrong?
rebound-
Where am I wrong in any
If
of
it's
this?
a rebound,
You're not.
rebound fuck,
I know I'm not.
You find the person that you can drink pretty to get over it. And
Why
just,
does he have to drink anyone pretty? Again, if we do this right, guess what?
Put me on camera right now. No. If you have a boob tat, no, out.
What's wrong with a boob tat?
I don't like seeing graffiti on titties. That's just my thing.
We've already had this discussion. There's
I'm
nothing
not
wrong
into
with a
boob tats,
tat
no.
except for him.
I'm totally down for
Anything over a C cup? No.
Dude, again, you don't have to give your profile out right now of what you're looking for.
I'm making the profile out right now, okay? No. I'm just not into it, dude. I don't know. I mean, we were at a bar earlier, and the girls were relatively attractive.
All right, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
At one point,
Things had a little bit too much of not your dad's fucking Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
I bought those. Let me finish it. You ass.
That's disgusting. So much sugar.
I don't give a shit.
Enjoy
Have
some
you
more.
seen me? And I think I'm gonna die this week anyway. So.
Why? God.
Oh my God! Can we talk? Can we tool on John a little bit here? Can we tool on John?
I guess.
He has this epiphany where he's going to die this week.
Why?
I don't know, but it's going to leave us without a producer for the podcast, and I'm really upset about it.
Okay, can I go ahead and say how fucked up it was whenever I confide in my best friend and coworker at this point, but my best friend about the fact that I'm pretty sure I'm going to die this week, and he goes, well, who's going to run the podcast?
That's a legitimate concern.
How much of a dick is he? That's how much of a dick he is.
So are you still on that consensus that you're going to pass?
I am of the consensus that for some reason I feel like I'm going to die within the next 3 weeks.
Why?
I don't even know.
That's messed up,
But
man.
no. I had this, you've had big moments in your life.
Sure.
Right? Okay. And
Can I ask you a question before we get too deep? Can we do a podcast live from your funeral?
Yeah.
Will you put that in your will so your wife doesn't kick us out?
It's going to be a costume party, too. I'm going to go ahead and write down what everyone is required
It's Rejected
to wear.
Radio. We're live. Producer John is dead.
Jesus.
Here he is in the casket.
I won't be at the funeral. I will disavow myself from all this shit. Like, dude, this guy did this to himself.
He just gave us permission.
Yeah. Either
No,
way.
I'm not going to do it to myself.
No, like you predicted it.
Oh, no,
He knew it was coming.
No.
I had nothing to do with this, Officer Swanson.
Do you have
Yeah, me neither. Me either.
Do you have big moments in your life?
Who doesn't?
Okay, so whenever you have those, you picture yourself in those moments.
Sure.
And you can see it ahead of time.
You can taste it, yeah.
Like, you can be like, I'm going to Disney World this week. And you can be like, picture yourself in Disney World.
Sure.
I'm about to have a baby girl.
Congrats.
I cannot picture myself with her.
That's because it's another kid. You can't predict yourself.
No.
so
I
dark,
could
dude.
with my sons and everything else. And I've just had these like feelings lately, like I will never see
probably
my daughter.
because she's gonna melt your heart and you're gonna be screwed. Boys and dudes, like I get it.
You guys
but,
are gonna be fucked
dude,
because I'm gonna be at home, like wrapped around her finger instead of doing. podcasts.
If I had a kid and I had a
Fuck
girl,
no, you're not.
I
You're gonna
know
be
for
doing
a
a podcast.
fact I would be ruined. I would be ruined if I had a daughter. I know it. Whether it's from my nieces or just even Sammy's daughter that was here the other night. It was just like it was the easiest thing in the world.
Until the fruit snacks happened.
And then she spit fruit snacks all over
Give me some camera.
Game over.
I'm going to be honest with you. This is the hardest thing, and I really don't want to talk about this on the podcast, but I feel like I probably should.
You probably shouldn't then. You probably shouldn't.
No, I feel like I should. Branching off of what you're saying and what you're saying about the daughters. Look, I just got divorced, obviously. This is something that's very new to me, and it's something that I'm emotionally adjusting with every day. And honestly, we got on here and we screw around and we make fun of each other and we dick off at each other, but I'm honestly sitting in a room with two of my best friends in this entire world that I can talk to about absolutely anything. The hardest thing in the fucking world was today my kids got picked up by their mom, and both of my girls sat in my lap and had an emotional breakdown and cried because they didn't want to leave my side. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, period, bar none. Absolutely most difficult thing I've ever had to do. And if you are, and I'm sorry, and I hate to take this in a serious note, I really do, because we're here, we're jovial, we have fun, we dick off.
The alcohol's got him into emotional mode.
No. In all seriousness, because I know I talked to McNelly about this today. I don't know if I talked to you about it or not, but and I can tell you, and I'm gonna look directly into the camera right now. If you are going through something right now where you're thinking about divorce, you're contemplating divorce, you're in that kind of zone right now where you think things are better and greener on the other side, I challenge you to think things through before you act, especially if there are kids involved. Because I
can't relate.
Living it right now, it is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life.
Well, sure, you were what,
So
together
tough.
for nearly a decade, married for
Almost,
7.
yeah.
You got what, 3 kids together?
Yes.
So again, I have shared this with Sting. I'm a huge proponent of happiness.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge proponent of do what you trust your gut. And so you're in that weird transition of like,
Absolutely.
hey, I have never been here. I don't know what this is like. I actually don't know if there's fucking grass on the other side.
Sure.
But I do know that, again, time heals all things, and especially if you're someone who's wanting that or looking for it. So I actually think that in the long run, you're going to be in a better position as a person in your relationships and with your children once the dust settles and you're at a place as an individual to where you can wake up and be like, oh shit, life is actually good.
And I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying.
But where you are now, after today,
so tough, dude.
Yeah.
So tough.
Yeah.
This was the first time that it actually kind of bit me in the ass where the kids were upset.
Right.
Obviously, Ty didn't give a shit. He's 3. He doesn't care. He's like, oh my God, Mom's here. Shit, yeah. Fuck you, then. Mom's here. We're going to the store. Fuck yeah. But the girls were like, oh my dude, and that's what broke my heart. And coming back to you, John, I mean, and I'm going to obviously make this all full circle, but coming back to you and you having your first daughter, dude, you better do everything you can to hang around. All right? When that bus starts heading your way, you better fucking go ahead and just get over in the next lane. Because girls will change your life. If you think you're about to kick the bucket because the bus is going to run you off the road, drive on the sidewalk. I don't give a shit. But girls will change your life because there was nothing harder.
Don't take me wrong. The plan is not to leave. Like, that's not what I'm saying.
This whole podcast got dark.
The plan is not like, I'm going to die this week, and if it doesn't happen naturally, I'm going to make sure that this shit fucking happens. No, that's not the plan. What I'm saying is, like, you have these moments in your life where you can imagine the moment in your head, or you've seen it, or you've dreamed about it, or you've had, like, whatever. And I'm at this impasse where I don't. So, like, something's about to happen that I can't imagine.
Dude, it's the fucking government, dude.
It's probably Donald Trump. He's controlling your mind.
Probably.
He's controlling. You're a libertarian. He's all about that ass. But no, in all seriousness.
Well, I hope you don't pass in the next 3 weeks. I hope we go into the new year with...
There's so much more video needs to be edited. I ain't going to lie to you. You got to teach
I'm going to look at the camera right now and say, I am not 100% sure how much of this is actual sympathy, how much of this is actual caring, and how much of it is, fuck, what the fuck are we going to do if we don't have somebody to edit our video?
That's Sting.
I'm
thinking 95%. I'll be fine.
No, but in all seriousness, dude, I mean, and you know, I've kind of had those things, right? I went through this long period right after the heart attack where, and I'm being serious. Jesus Christ, I'm being absolutely serious.
I'm sorry, but how old were you?
I was 21 when I had the heart attack.
I have no sympathy for you. You had a heart attack at 21.
If anybody has a near-death experience, though, it is different.
Absolutely. So I had the heart attack at 21, which blew my fucking mind because who would have ever thought at 21 years old you're going to have a heart attack? Right? I took like 15 drug tests. All right? Fuck you, McNelly.
I'm sorry, dude.
You're such a bastard.
Who the fuck has a heart attack at 21?
Me, apparently. But no, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, do I plan for tomorrow? You know, it's one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever done.
If tomorrow.
Oh my God! Don't go Garth on me. Don't do that. But legitimately, it was one of those things where it was like, how do you continue on? You know what I mean? Like this was like major. How do you continue living life? You really, it's like a reality check.
I'm going to tell you, being in the military, there was 2 different kinds of people.
People that got butt fucked and people that didn't.
No,
Jesus,
no.
dude.
Those are subs and surface.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trannies and not trannies.
No, but seriously, there was the guys who would say, "What?"
Not my podcast.
I seriously was in this spot where, because I was on limbo for a little while, which meant limited duty. I was on a special assignment, and I was at the hospital with people who had problems a lot worse than I had.
Sure.
Like Marines missing limbs and things like that. And I learned that there was 2 different kinds of people. Whenever they had a near-death experience like that, there were the people who said, "What the fuck does it matter?
Right.
I'm going to die. Whether it's today or 10 years from now,
Sure.
I'm going to die, so what the fuck does it matter?" And then there was the other guys who said, "I'm going to die eventually. I need to make the best out of every day that I don't die."
See, I find myself in between both of those spectrums. Because we're all going to fucking die. We all know it.
There's only 2 things guaranteed in this world, death and taxes, and I'm a libertarian working to fix one of them.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I agree. Like, again, I get that sentiment. We're all going to die. I figured that out a long-ass time ago. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
And because of that, why the fuck not do what you want? Why not figure out what makes you happy? Why not be the best version? Or why not just be the worst version of yourself? Just choose.
Just hire hookers.
Yeah, sure.
What?
At the end of the day, everything is choice. And I think so many people are moved by fear that they do either jack shit or they actually are just like, fuck it, let's figure this out. And if I get to the other side and I'm not pleased with it, whatever that choice was, okay, great. Next. On to the next thing. Like, not everything's dogma, but I mean, again, I get the shock factor of oh my God, I'm going to die. Fuck everything. And then, oh my God, I'm going to die. Let's be the best person in the world. But, like, there's always that silver lining, that gray area.
And I agree with that. But, again, I really think this boils down to, again, your social connection. Where are you from? What are you doing? And follow me on this. Seriously.
Sure. No, I agree.
Because you have been around and you've seen New York City where life is carefree. You've seen different regions, different cultures where life is kind of carefree. I think us being here,
right,
and us living here and growing up here and not really going out and seeing the world,
right,
your instinct, that's a bad word for it, but your emotional connection. We're in the buckle of the Bible Belt right here in Chattanooga.
But there's still some of you that whenever you go and see the world wants to come home.
Absolutely, always.
No doubt about that. And no, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is I feel like until you go out and explore and see exactly what's out there, because we've talked about things like free sex,
free sex.
No such thing as a free fuck.
We've talked about free sex.
Going out and just having sex with anybody or anything. People in different cities. I mean, and seriously, let me go here because I think you'll agree. But people in different cities, it's completely taboo here in Chattanooga to go out and get. Oh my God, the video's down again. What the fuck, John?
Finish your thought.
Okay, so my point is.
Are we still live?
I don't know.
I don't know.
My point is with all that is going out to these cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, where you find these girls that are
or guys,
fair,
people,
where I've been out and I've been tested, so we can have sex, and it's not a thing. Here, that doesn't happen. You don't hear people saying that.
It does happen again culturally,
but it's not in the open.
Absolutely.
Right. Whereas
you don't necessarily trust the judgment, or you do trust the judgment here. Whereas if you're in a bigger city, it's harder to trust the judgment. I mean,
what does that mean?
That they're clean. I mean, you don't need. Does that make sense?
I think those are two different conversations. I think when you're talking about culture and the fact that. I'm sorry, I'm listening to this live.
I'm hearing myself.
Yeah.
Why am I hearing double? Deja vu.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No. Let me. So again, you had almost two questions in that thought. So you were talking about people again, choices. Who gives a shit? You're there to find out that they weren't clean or they were. I think what you're talking about is culture and the fact that you mentioned these big cities. Okay, you can go to any city. At the end of the day, you're always going to have fucking poor people. You're always going to have lot lizards. You're always going to have drunks and addicts and losers and churches and pastors and good people and fuckers. The list. Everything is the same no matter where you go.
I think you're missing my point.
The only difference is culture and how you identify or where you put yourself in that. So, with that being said, your tribe, your community that's still here in the South is the thing that is either holding you back or moving you forward. And so those 4 people, 5 people, maybe 8 people, depending on your close niche group, is the reason for you. I think it's the reason people make most of their choices, even those choices out of fear. And so when you go to these...
But the thing is, once you have kids...
Sure, I bet that changes so much.
It absolutely does.
Of course.
Your choices no longer are about anyone else except for the 2 or 3 people that...
I
for you 4.
Right.
But
All
like,
right,
really,
so,
most of your decisions come
But
down.
I don't think that was necessarily the conversation piece we were having.
We are
but
in a really
great
deep
point.
conversation right now, and I hate to do this. I absolutely hate to do this. But it's time to wrap things up for tonight because we are failing on Facebook. Comcast is a pile of garbage. We're paying you so we can see it. Piece of shit! So I think it's probably best.
Stream's
that
back
we
up,
just-
by the way.
No, it's
good,
not because
good.
I'm looking right at
I'm
it.
watching the actual what Facebook is getting. But
But I'm watching Facebook, and it's not
I
translating.
don't think it's coming to your Facebook because you're on the same internet.
Yeah, probably, but whatever, guys. So we're going to go ahead and just kill this because it is 12:30.
I actually sent this to Sting, like, production note. You do this thing where whenever you're producing something and you see that it's time to fucking cut it off, telling the other person, hey, I'm going to put the camera on you, turn the fuck off.
So is this off? Yeah.
I
don't
did
even
that
know
like
what that
15
means.
minutes ago.
So we've just been talking.
No. Like, we've been talking, but what I'm
Why
saying
do
is,
people keep watching? Why, when we're ready to wrap things up, do people keep tuning in?
I don't know. We had more people yesterday. We were
I
like,
know.
we should shut this off. And we went from like 7 viewers to 14, and we're like, fuck.
Probably time to
Hey,
get out of
P.S.
here.
We need to remember we should talk about Macaulay Culkin's rise, fall, and redemption sometime
I
soon.
feel like we probably shouldn't.
You could have a whole podcast.
What are you
on
talking
it.
about?
right.
Have you seen the guy? He's back on top.
Have you seen Haley Joel Osment?
Oh, he's killing it. He's killing the game.
He looks like Santa Claus with a red
Dude,
beard.
he's fucking awesome.
Quit
Entourage.
hating on him. All right, seriously.
Anyway, so
Oh, we're
back
still.
to you.
Are we still
Josh.
on the air?
Yeah, we're still,
Yeah, we are.
I
We're
thought we
still
were cutting this shit off.
We're still viewers coming.
He's gonna send it out.
Ah.
I am going to sit down. So thank you so much for hanging out with us here on Facebook Live. We definitely appreciate it. Don't forget you can check us out on YouTube. Just search Rejected Radio. All these podcasts that have been on all this week, you can see us there. We will not be on tomorrow night. I can guarantee you that, but we'll be on very soon with another live podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Instagram as well. Just check out Rejected Radio. In the meantime, for McNelly, who is over here. Yeah, IT guy. There he is. Yeah, way by. And for producer John, who is over there, it is Rejected Radio. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out. See ya.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget, you can find the latest shows online and on demand on Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud. And you can find Rejected Radio on Facebook and Twitter. You've been listening to Rejected Radio. Copyright 2017. All rights reserved.